Alright, so we're back. Today we've got a Series 1 Marshall. It looks a lot better now. This tractor did come in quite a sorry state. I'll insert some pictures throughout this video and you'll be able to see what we've done. So starting off with, when we got this tractor, it had a cracked block and it was missing a piston. And I don't know the story behind the block, but I'm assuming it's been kept outside, no antifreeze, and it cracked the block, but it was quite a major crack. I'll insert a picture of the old block and what it looks like. So we've sorted that now. Once we sorted the block, our next steps was to remove this block, because this block was on wrong and it was missing a stud and we want to put it back together properly, so we had to go back before we could go forward. So we removed this block, we removed the studs from the old block, fitted them to this, resealed it, put it back together. The next step from there was to find a piston, because the original block to this tractor was an oversized block, and obviously this new block is a standard block, so we needed a standard piston. Luckily we have a few friends in the Marshall sphere, and one of them had a piston that he would kindly swap us, so we just did a straight swap, and luckily enough it went straight in first time. When we knew we'd acquired a piston, my friend Liam, who owns the tractor, he got onto Crawford's and ordered some piston rings and also a head gasket. The head gasket didn't need to be replaced, it could have been salvaged, but since we're doing it, we want to do it properly. And if he replaces it now, he'll never have to replace it again. So we replaced the head gasket as well. Other new parts, we had some new rubbers. We had new cylinder head rubbers, new radiator rubbers. Again, I'll show you some clips of them being fitted. Once we got the new piston rings, we fitted them to the new piston. We built up the piston on the original conrod. We fitted the oil way, and then it was time to fit. Once we were fitting it, we realised, oh, we don't have a piston ring compressor big enough to compress the piston rings. So then we had to get a bit creative. We tried numerous things. We tried Jubilee clips, we tried pinching them, we tried pliers, we tried screwdrivers, punches, and in the end it was less technical than you'd think. We did it with 2 zip ties and oiled it up. I squished it, my friend ratcheted them down, and then we put them in one by one and we did it ring by ring. It took a couple of hours, well, it didn't take a couple of hours, it took us about 45 minutes to an hour, but it was time well spent, because obviously it got us out of trouble and we got it in, which is good. Once the piston was in, we then fitted the cylinder head. When the cylinder head was in, we wound it over, made sure it wasn't catching on anything. It sounded really good. And then once that was ready, we then moved on to the cooling, the water pack. We built the radiator up, put the header tank on, all the cores in, and then we filled it with water. We filled it with water the first time, not antifreeze, because obviously if you've got a leak, you don't want all your antifreeze to pee out onto the floor. So we filled it with water. When we did fill it with water, we realised we'd got a leak, and it wasn't a leak in a place we expected. Usually they'll leak on the 2 seals behind here, but this one didn't. This one was actually a leak in between the header tank and the top of the block, so we had to then take it all off again so that we could put it back on. After we'd done that, we then pulled it outside and tried starting it, and surprisingly, well, I don't know why I'm so surprised, but happily, this tractor started first time, and I don't know how long it's been sat for, but I can guess at least 5 years, and it started first time on the first paper, on the first pull. So we were really happy with that. Come on. Ready? After that, obviously, you've got to do a bit of testing, so we took it to the pub, and it made it to the pub and back, all in good time. Yeah, that's about it. I'll insert some clips of it going up and down the drive.